Forever. Dog.
Let me just say, first of all, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Michelle Collins. This is Midnight Snack. My guest today, I can't I've been wanting to book you basically since we started doing this podcast. I'm like, we got to get Naomi. She's one of the funniest people I know. I adore you. And you are akin to like a J.D. Salinger. I was like, I can't get Naomi. You are so busy, Naomi Ekperigin, that I genuinely, the fact that we have you this week is a gift from above. You look gorgeous. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to plug for you. One of my favorite comedians. Follow her on Twitter at Blackdress and at Instagram at Blackdress Comedy. And she's a WOWIE nominee. We're going to talk all about that. Vote for her. Also has a new single out. Sam, part of me, okay, let me just say, Naomi Ekperigin, one of the funniest people. Naomi, part of me feels like this all happened for a reason, like you coming on this week, because you have so much going on.
Which is insane. Which is like, I feel in some ways like more booked and blessed in a pandemic than I ever was in the before times. Yeah. And it is so weird. But, honey, whatever keeps the lights on. You know, I came here right now with a bold lip for you because that's how I pay homage to the goddesses, okay, with a bold lip if I'm seeing Mish. And just wanted to suit up and show up for you.
And you know what's funny is that I was like, Naomi is so beautiful. And like, I didn't feel great today. So I was like, I'm just going to be natural, like feminist ep. I did put mascara on for you, but I have nothing else. And this is the artwork in my Airbnb. This is not a personal choice. This thing right here. You are really busy. Why do you think pandemic, like why are you working more in the pandemic? Seems funny.
I know, it's so weird. I think it's interesting because, you know, you and I, we both do comedy that's more conversational and casual. And I feel like people really appreciate it now more than they did when they had to leave the house. You know what I mean?
You know why? Have you actually done stand-up shows? I'm sure you have, like virtual stand-up.
Yeah, I've done some Zoomies.
Some Zoomies. You know why? Because finally our art is like worth something. Because you can't sit at home and watch someone go, I don't know. You know, guys, I just don't know anymore. I was at the drive-in the other day. Like that level of comedy is not engaging enough for home Zoom shows, I feel.
Yeah. Yep. I think you're right. I think you're very right. Because I very much am like leaning in the face, being like, oh my God, girl, did you watch this? Like I'll be in their face. Like I know them.
That's the trick. You have to pretend you know everybody. That's the trick.
Yeah.
And people will say, oh, but then this gets scary when they really think they know you. And you're just like, wait, I'm private. I'm a private person, you know?
But it's also like when your personality, like that's things like, I don't think I'm fake on stage, right? So the thing is, I will tell you my business. But the thing is, people don't realize that, like, when I'm not on stage, I no longer want to engage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not like it's more like, I'm tired. It's less private and more tired.
Well, that's it.
You know what I mean? I'm off the clock.
I exactly agree. And I don't want to sound shitty because I'm always, unlike Naomi, I'm so grateful to say hi to my fans after Unlike my guest today, I love engaging with the fans after. But it is true that they want to continue the performance almost. And you're like, I've just given you 90 minutes, however long it was. Let me go rest. Like you drained me. What else do you want? You know, it's tough sometimes.
I want to be eccentric. I want to be like an eccentric. Like if I ever get famous enough to be eccentric, what I would do is like after a show, I would go back into like my boudoir, right? I would sit on my chaise. I would cover my eyes with cucumbers and you could come talk to me, but I just like don't have to necessarily do anything bad.
Can I please?
I love that. I mean, we can engage.
Wait, can I please help style this? Like I don't have to be there, but can I help get the kind of aesthetic down? Because I know I'm picturing like an affair to remember, like blanket over the legs. Like, can she even get up? Like, we don't know. She may not be able to get up. I love that.
Right. Like a reverse Willy Wonka where like you think he's feeble, and then he does a somersault. But then after, actually, you think perhaps I was faking being able-bodied.
You could call yourself Hot Willy Wonka Grandpa. That's like a new character for you. Be like, did you see Naomi's new Hot Willy Grandpa? She's good. She's killed it. I forgot to mention you have one of the most fun podcasts there is to do as a performer, but also to listen to, the Couples Therapy podcast with your lovely husband, Andy. How is that going? How are you two doing? You're married. You're both so sweet. Like I I couldn't picture you fighting, but I could also picture tempers boiling over in the Ekperigin home. How has pandemic been treating you guys as a couple?
Girl, I need his face to get out of my face. I believe he would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's true. It's like it's not fighting. It's like we're both, I think, bored. And you can tell, and I can tell Andy a little better because, meaning he'll, if I come in the room or if I search, he'll be like, "What's up?" Like a real, hyper aware, instantly, what? And I'm like, "Oh, you want me to leave?"
It's like you caught him masturbating or watching porn. It sounds like, "Oh, hey!" Getting to the tab. Yeah.
I know. It's like that energy. But that's what he wants is he wants to be alone and kind of is like, if you have something to say, can you say it quickly? So I can read that little tone. Whereas I literally just go, are you going to stay in this room? And then if he's going to stay in the room, I just leave the room.
But that's the communication. I feel like my parents, they fight all the time. And my mom, my mom is a former Israeli Air Force person. When I say
is she? I thought she's. I did not know that because she's such an icon. She gives me 1950s starlet energy. I had no idea she was once in the Air Force.
She was. I mean, she was a secretary, and my theory is she slept with all the El Al pilots. Because when I was a child, I pray my parents don't listen to this podcast. When I was a child, every time we would fly, because my family was in Israel, she would always say "Slicha," call the girls over and be like, "Who's flying today?" And they'd say, "Oh, it's Uri Miskowitz." And she'd go, "Uri tell him Yudit Glick is in economy. You tell him Yudit Glick." And Naomi, one time we flew, I was a little girl, in the cockpit of an El Al flight from, I guess, Miami to Tel Aviv. I was served croissants. They brought us juice. It was the chicest private jet experience because I'm sure there had been some energy there, for sure. Without a question. Yeah.
That's amazing. It also explains why you are accustomed to the finer things.
That's nice
from a very early age. You were getting those croissants.
No, you know what it is? It's the finer things, but how to do it in a TJ Maxx way. How to do it.
Yes.
How to live a fine life, but in an underhanded way. Not cheap, but just not get fucked over,
Yeah.
But what I was going to say though is that my mom always fights with my dad, and yet they've been locked in their apartment for 8 months. They have not left their apartment in Miami for 8 months. And so I can imagine though, but for married couples, because I'm single, so I'm like, oh God, it'd be so nice to have someone around. And then I'm like, I can do whatever I want. I can literally go and if I'm really lonely, make it work for myself. You know what I mean? It's okay.
Yeah. I think it is fine. I mean, I know what you mean. Every now and then, my thing is I have a couple friends who live on their own, and so I just call them just to make sure. I'm like, my big nightmare is that you've tripped, that you were on a ladder and you fell in a rickety ladder. But other than that, I'm not you need a lover. Because I'm you get to control your social interactions. You get to eat whatever garbage you want to eat.
Don't ask.
I'm constantly saying, "Don't look at me." I'm constantly saying, "Andrew, don't look at me." I've ordered something else again. I've ordered in again.
The holiday season is fast approaching, and that means the post office is about to get very busy. So who wants to stress out about running there? Well, guess what? You don't have to. Stamps.com brings the post office and now UPS shipping right to your computer. You heard me. You can mail and ship anything right from your own home. Plus, Stamps.com saves you money with deep discounts that you can't even get at the post office. Stamps.com is a must-have for any business. Whether you're a small company, an online seller fulfilling orders, or even a giant warehouse sending thousands of packages a day, Stamps.com has you covered. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. It really is that easy. With Stamps.com, you get 5 cents off of every first-class stamp, up to 40% off priority mail, and up to 62% off of UPS shipping rates. This is a no-brainer. Stamps.com saves you time and money. It's no surprise that 900,000 small businesses are already on board. So don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Just sign up for Stamps.com instead. There's no risk, and with my promo code MIDNIGHTSNACK, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the very top of the homepage, and type in Midnight Snack. That's Stamps.com and enter Midnight Snack. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again. If the pandemic has taught me anything over these past many months, it's that my childhood love of cereal has not gone anywhere. I still love it. I love to snack on it. It's what I would like to call a comfort food. But when I'm trying to cut down on carbs and sugar, I have to give it up, which honestly can't happen this year. I'm stressed. And that is why I am so happy that I found Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon is literally magic. Each serving of Magic Spoon cereal has 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net grams of carbs. This is cereal, people, and I said 0 sugar. And they have 4 great flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry. It's not only keto-friendly, it's gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. It sounds like you're covered no matter what your issue is. Now, personally, I love the frosted flavor because it's sweet like me, but not too much like me. It's perfectly balanced, satisfies my cereal cravings. They also have blueberry, which is nice. And the great thing is whenever you want a bowl, just get Magic Spoon. It's perfect to have in your house when you can barely leave your house. And you know, I've got a deal for you because it's what I do. Go to magicspoon.com/midnightsnack to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code MIDNIGHTSNACK at checkout to get free shipping. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, no big deal. They'll refund your money, no questions asked. That's magicspoon.com/midnightsnack and use the code MIDNIGHTSNACK for free shipping. We thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring this podcast. Should I be hurt that you've never once called to see if I've fallen off a ladder? I've not heard from you once.
Well, okay, to be fair, you are always in the presence of a +1, meaning you have someone watching your back. You're always having an outdoor moment with someone who I'm convinced is I'm like, is he a publicist? Is he an artist? You have I don't know, you have like a Euro international friend group.
The fact that this is the image you get of me is like, I'm howling with like true dog style laughter. It is so not even true. Like, European publicists, what are you talking about? I have like 3 friends from college who are all teensy. You know, I'm the Gandalf to their Frodes. Like, they're all teensy tiny. Yeah, but I have to tell you something. Like, I was starting to get so anxious in New York. Like, I just hit a real wall with just my apartment. Like, I know everyone is dealing with this right now, but I just could not look at the 4 walls of my apartment anymore. Are you having that? Like, are you going stir crazy?
Very much so. I think the other thing, and this is on me, I don't like driving. It makes me anxious.
Really?
I'm not great at it. Even, dude, I didn't get a license for the first time until I was 21 anyway. And that was, once I left New York, because I'm from New York. So it never really felt like a thing I needed. And then I was like, okay, you have to be out in the world. And then I got a license. I drove for like a year, then was back at home and didn't really drive again. And so when I moved to LA, I lifted, honey, for as long as I could. I lifted Uber for as long as I could, finally got a car. And now I'm just like, people are wild out here. They do not believe in signaling. No. They are going to cut across 9 lanes. Like, the streets are lawless, and I think you have to be a very good driver to deal with that.
When I tell you, I sharpened my driving skills because I grew up in Miami, a big driving town, got a car. Like, I had a car for 3 months before the transmission broke as a teenager, but like, I loved LA driving. But I will say, if you see a white BMW, literally pull over. Like, don't get near it. Don't try to like out lane it. Like, don't try to out speed it and get in front of it. They'll kill you. The people I feel like there should be psychological evaluations for anybody at a BMW dealership purchasing a white BMW, mainly sedan, but the SUVs are not ruled out. It's it's like something mental there. And LA is, what's funny is that I drive now in the city. Like, I rent a car if I'm back, just again, because I'm in this like escape mode of like, feeling crazed. And I've gotten so good at driving in the city. You would shit. I'm like full blown yellow cab, like Bruce Willis in Die Hard 3. I'm driving through the park. I'm like, people drive with me and they're like, you could legit be a New York City Uber driver. I have the confidence of like a 90-year-old Armenian with just who needs to earn a check. So you have to, it's just a matter of like getting used to it. But LA just also, you have to drive in LA.
I know. I gotta get it. And at first I was like, ooh, early in the pandemic, I was like, ooh, good, the streets are half empty. Like, this is my time. So it felt a little easier to navigate because, I still need to figure out where I'm going. but people give even less of a fuck because there's fewer people. People are really comfortable kind of like darting out and like pulling out of the damn Sunoco just right into you. It's like, you gotta wait. You have to wait. And you know, Michelle, I'm very serious about people who give the hand raise, the thank you hand.
Oh,
you know?
That's my whole thing.
You let them in.
Wait a minute.
And these hoes never give you a thank you hand.
Naomi Ekperigin, I want to say something to you. If we do not start a religion based on simple hand wave thank yous in a car, I will track a bitch down if I let them in and they don't give me a wave. And by the way, I wave as a passenger in an Uber car. If someone lets my Uber driver in, I give a wave from the back as an extension wave. I know. I'm so glad you brought that up. But people, you know, because LA, a lot of animals in LA, and they don't care. They don't know. They weren't raised nice.
No, they were not. They were not. They have no home training. And I said, we have let you through. Also, you put yourself in such a way that I have no choice, FYI, because you done stuck out half your damn car into my area.
They don't care. You should go to Miami. I'm going to actually personally pay for you to go drive. But we have to make rules. You have to drive every single day in Miami. Okay. And I want you to tell me if you think, I think the drivers in Miami, I mean, I'm telling you that when I'll be like behind someone and I'll go around to like look at them and it's full Stevie Wonder. It's full. And I'm like, Stevie, pull over. Like, why are you driving? One time, I have to warn you though, that the one accident that I caused in LA was because I was also on no sleep in my Mercury, but a guy was parked by the CBS studio in a driving lane, just parked, like no hazards, just there. And I was trying to make a right turn into the studio, so I had to go around him. And as I was going around on no sleep, I looked, you know, I love to fucking look at people. I love it. I'm going to get killed. The fact that I've made it 39 years, what a miracle that no one's blown my fucking brains out. And I'm in the car and I go to look like, dude, come on, like you're parked. And as I'm looking, slammed into the car in front of me. Oh, no. Hit this car. And it was a brand new Mustang driven by like the most beautiful Saudi Arabian couple who were visiting. No. And I was like, I was so tired. The point is just don't do the passive aggressive look unless you know for sure you have clearance. Yes. I mean, that's, you know, the passive aggressive look. As the passenger, I will do that look for you. You know what I mean? If you're driving, I want you to focus, but I'm going to give the stank look so you can keep your eye on the road. I'm never leaving the home without you. You're going to have to be in my car. I'm going to be waving and looking stank. Those are your two options. That's all you get from me. We should start a service like an Uber, but where we just sit with you while you drive to do that shit. So you can focus on the road and we'll be like your extension of your emotions. You know what I mean? Right. Exactly. We'll give the middle finger. Did your parents like curse in the car when you were growing up? Did they get angry road rage? No, not at all. My mom is like, it's interesting. She's a much more chill driver now. But again, I think she grew up in Detroit. So, you know, she drove from a very early age, but then lived in New York. So then whenever I was with her in the car, she was a little like, Naomi, turn the music down. You know what I mean? Like she had to focus. And so she wasn't, so she didn't like give other people attitude, but she was like in the car, like really intense, knuckles white. So, grasping the wheel. Exactly. A real intense. Yeah, no, my mother, she really cursed a lot. The energy is passed down. Like, I feel like even the way you described your mom is sort of how you are too in the car because you're like nervous a little bit, you know? Yeah. I'm like, don't talk. Yeah. Don't talk until I finish turning. How close to the wheel do you sit? It's a good question. I thought I was normal, but I've been made fun of for being too close. Apparently I'm close. Okay, I just want you to know, am I a fucking genius? Like, how did I know? The second I thought of you in the car, I'm like, I know Naomi sits too close. I have a friend, Sonal Jan, God bless, I love her to death. Little Indian girl, cute as can be. She sits, when I tell you, and she's tiny. She's like 5 feet. The wheel is here and this bitch is here. And I'm like, you know, if God forbid the airbag opens on you, it's going to burst through your back. Like it's not going to stop at your front. You have to watch yourself. I am very much upright. I'm very upright. You know what I mean? Like I'm like really fucking straight as an arrow. And I think I'm not close. But then Andy was like, Naomi, why are you hugging the wheel? And I was like, I just have to be able to control it. And I was like, well, I guess that's too close. Now, you know what? Great. I had no reason to go back to LA until this conversation, and I'm literally going to come just to drive with you. I'm like, this is the movie. This is the literal driving force to get me to visit LA because nothing otherwise is bringing me back. Do you miss New York? I do. I will say not in the pandemic necessarily, because I know that. Yes, I have a little more freedom, right? I can like just walk around in New York and stuff. But what I do like about LA is I used to hate it, but in a pandemic, I like that I can walk a good 2-3 blocks before passing another human. That's right. Which is very relaxing, you know? Before I used to be like, these streets are dead. I feel like I'm in the opening of a Lifetime movie. But
now it feels like, oh, I can kind of relax. Because I got a dog. So now I'm a dog mother. So I'm always like out walking around. And I kind of love, I'm like, oh God, there's no one here.
Has that dog just changed? I sit, so I told you before the show started, I'm here in London. Long story, short story, I'm here. That's all there is to it. Everyone's like, why are you there? I'm like, just don't, I have my reasons. I'm here. And I'm technically quarantining, but so I can go to the market, and I do go on walks because I would lose my shit otherwise. So I sit in these parks just alone on a bench. Nobody wears masks. You would have a fucking heart attack.
Really?
Naomi?
I'm surprised.
These people, when I say that these pasty motherfuckers have a death wish from above, I'm like, nobody wears masks. I got into a fight.
What?
I have to tell you this story because also I want to talk to you about supermarkets because this is where you and I this is the bonding. But I have to tell you this quickly. I went today to a supermarket here called Tesco Express. And so there's where I'm staying. It's very beautiful, but there's two right next. There's one called Waitrose. And then Tesco.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that.
Waitrose is nice. It's like a little classy. So, of course, again, budget, budget classy girl. I've only ever gone to Waitrose. And then today I thought, you know what? I'm going to like spread the love. I'm going to go to Tesco Express and give them a little of my hard-earned pounds. So I go in and I go to get literally 2 bottles of rosé. This is, by the way, when I come back looking like Nicolas Cage and Leaving Las Vegas, you're going to understand why. So I go get 2 bottles of rosé, some like popcorn, dried mango, and iced coffee. Like truly diarrhea recipe from the old country. I'm standing now and I have my mask on. People, elderly, Naomi, people veterans from World War II walking in, no masks. Please hear me.
What?
And no one stops them. They just come in, and then I don't want to be near them because I also don't want to get like, I don't know, what can you get from breath otherwise? Like not just COVID. I don't want to be near, I don't know. Freaks me out. So anyway, I'm in line to pay and I have my mask and this lady in front has like all these credit card problems and I'm there for literally 10 minutes holding all this shit. Finally, it's my turn. I go up. Donna, the checkout lady, she takes my stuff. She goes, can you just lower your mask so I can run an ID check? Lower your mask for the wine.
What? Donna? Are you kidding me? First of all,
talk to me. I knew you were going to love this. Talk to me.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Literally the sickness of one, assuming you're big, like you're some sort of a thief, and the big get is 2 rosés, some popcorn, and mango at the Tesco Express. We got to check ID at the Tesco Express because that's where people come to steal things. Number one, ID check, girl, bye. Secondly,
I'm shitting because you're going to shit. I'm so excited. Hit me. Go.
We in a goddamn pandemic. Donna, you too close to my fucking face. You ain't 6 feet apart from Donna. That's not how checkout works. That's not how it works.
By the way, I do feel like this fight with Donna happened so that I could tell it to you on the podcast. I'm like, you know what? I should go thank Donna tomorrow with a bottle of rosé. I stood there because she had to take like the sensors off of it because they like rope it all up. I said, no, are you out of your mind? I'm not taking my mask down. She goes, I can't sell it to you unless you remove your mask. And exactly what you said, like, what is this? Some kind of scheme? I said, look, here's my ID. I had my license. I go, here are like 2 credit cards with my name on it. Do you think that I've had all these things made fake so that I could buy some fucking 8-pound rosé at your shitty ass convenience store? Like, please, I'm a single 6'1", slightly morbidly obese girl who just wants to watch British dating shows alone and like not be bothered, Can you please? And she wouldn't sell. So I said, so now, the funny thing is though, I felt like I was reverse Karening because I was like doing it for the mask,
Yeah.
So she goes, do you want me to call my manager? And I was like, yeah. So the manager comes, mask under the nostrils. Listen to me. Comes over and he goes, I'm sorry. And I said, well, who makes this rule? I go, you could get sick, and at this point people are watching like all these like hot guys at self-checkout are like looking. Cause when I tell you that I went full Pelican Brief, I was like, my posture got straight. I was just like, I'm going to fucking kill these people. And so he says, look at the sign. It says, we may ask you if you look under 25. I was like, don't start. Don't start. And I said, but it doesn't say you must. It says you may. So this is a discretionary thing you're asking me to do. And clearly I don't feel comfortable. So I said, I buy wine across at Waitrose literally every day. They never stop me. I'm like, let me just do it. And they wouldn't. And so I said, this is why so many people are dying in London. because nobody's taking this seriously. I screamed it. I went, this is why people are dying in London, because no one's taking this seriously. And I left all my shit. I walked out.
Left your shit, of course. Of course. And now you're literally Waitrose for life. Now you're Waitrose for life.
I'm marching in tomorrow, playing taps. I don't even know what I could do to prove to them my loyalty forever. I'm going to have my funeral there in like the sushi section. I love Waitrose. If there's one thing I love, it's great wine. But sometimes even I get overwhelmed and I'm not sure what to get. And that is why I love Bright Cellars, because they continuously introduce me to new wines that I just love. Bright Cellars is the only wine subscription that provides personalized wine matches and service based on your taste preferences. All you need to do is take their 7-question quiz, and Bright Cellars will pair you with 6 unique and personalized wines. Not only that, but Bright Cellars provides a unique wine education experience to help their members better understand where wine comes from, food pairings, temperature to serve wine at, and many other things that will just fascinate you for days. For example, one of the wines they sent me was a 2018 rosé from Petal Press Wine Company, which, if you know me, you know I love my rosé, and it was delish. It's great for happy hour by yourself, or just watching TV by yourself, or listening to Midnight Snack by yourself. Not only did I love the taste, but like I said, they educate you. They send these really great informative cards that explain everything you need to know about your wine. Bright Cellars has a dedicated team of wine concierges who can help send wine based on your schedule, so you can swap out bottles, switch to wine seasonally, or skip a shipment anytime. It's up to you. It's great to get for yourself or as a gift this holiday season. For Midnight Snack listeners only, this is big, we're giving you 50% off of your first 6-bottle order from Bright Cellars. You got to go to brightcellars.com/midnight snack. That's Brightcellars, CELLARS.com/midnight snack. You can take their 7-question quiz to get your wine matches and receive 50% off of your first 6-bottle order. Enjoy. Hey friends, at this moment in time, you might be looking to talk to someone about what's going on around you or what you're dealing with yourself. And if so, I wanted to remind you that you can always turn to BetterHelp. BetterHelp is professional counseling done securely online. And they have so many different counselors with various expertise that you're covered for whatever you want to work on. These are licensed professional therapists you can chat with over the phone or video, whatever you're comfortable with. However you want to chat, set it up with your therapist and do what's best for you. Another perk, BetterHelp is more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and you can start talking to your therapist in under 48 hours. Such a quick turnaround, and with everything going on, I mean, who wants to wait? BetterHelp assesses your needs to give you your own therapeutic match. They're committed to pairing great teams, so it's free and easy to change counselors if you ever need to. So visit betterhelp.com/Michelle. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. If there's a therapist who's listening and looking. And of course, a special offer for all of my listeners. Now you can get 10% off your very first month at betterhelp.com/Michelle. That's 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Michelle. But you had a viral video that I must say, I really do feel like you and I are spiritually very connected. I don't know if you ever feel this, but
yes, of course.
You hit things sometimes, Naomi Ekperigin, that just, you get it. You get an energy. Tell everyone what your beef with Pandemic, Trader Joe's. I'm not going to make you repeat it, but what made you want to go in on it?
Well, because I'm taking the pandemic seriously, so I don't go out often. Certainly not to places where people are gathered. So really for me, it is the grocery store, right? And so the grocery store is kind of my window into the way people are handling this, right? Because obviously I'm in my own world. I'm in my house. The animals, I'll put them in masks if I need to.
Cute.
And so when I go to Trader Joe's, honey, I was shocked, appalled, baffled, and disgusted by the behavior of people. I was like, what? You know what it is too, Michelle? Too many hoes think they special. And by special, I mean they think they ain't gonna get the cocoa. They think that somehow it doesn't apply to them. And so they were out in TJ's and there was just a relaxation, a lackadaisical nature that I could not get over.
I'm going to kill you for saying lackadaisical. I will end this podcast right now. I know what you mean. Go on. I'm so into this.
Mad.
Yeah, I know.
I was so mad. And then, of course, because now I live in a world where I don't see anybody, what do I do with all these feelings? I have to take them to the internet. And so then I just start yelling into my phone or yelling into camera, being like, can you imagine? And so that's what happened. Because they're like, that's the thing that killed me. And when I was like, oh, I saw a man sniffing a lemon. He was sniffing lemons, Michelle, to, I guess, see which one was ripest. I don't know why you would do that. I was like, you are not Ina Garten, bitch. And he was sniffing in Trader Joe's, touching them, bringing them to his mouth region, inhaling, exhaling particles on them damn lemons.
Something happens when you go to Trader Joe's. First of all, I'm shooting tears. Like I'm dehydrated from crying. Something happens to people, including myself, when you walk through the doors of Trader Joe's. It's almost like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Remember that Nickelodeon game show?
Yes.
With like the Silver Monkey Room, and then there's like the ramps, and you're just like, I gotta get this food before like those guys pop out and like snatch me away and take my medals. You feel like you are on a game show where you are competing with every other dumb fuck in Trader Joe's. And so especially when the pandemic started, because it was like, I mean, in New York, even now, the lines at Trader Joe's, I always go, what are these people? Idiots? I always think, what are they, idiots? And then I go on an off time when it's empty, and I'm like, oh, I fucking love it here so much. It's so cheap. Everything is like, delicious and everything else. But it does turn people into animals in a way that I don't believe any other store, including Costco. I think TJ's is worse than Costco.
Is it? Wow.
I believe it.
I do think, I believe you. I haven't hit up Costco in a while. I don't have the closet space for Costco, quite frankly. So that's the reason why I don't have one. I know, because, I really believe in buying all feminine products from Costco, because we all know I'm going to be with this period shit for at least another 20 years. Give me my goddamn bulk.
I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm 100% getting it on this podcast, by the way. It's like ticking down. I'm literally, there might be a moment where I'm like, give me a second, and I have to run. Pop an ultra in there.
So this is us being more connected, because, girl, I got mine today.
Really?
And you know how I ate a cookie for breakfast. And that's how you know it's here. I got cramps and I ate a cookie.
Thank you for doing this. By the way, honestly, day 1 and day 2 for me these days are...
Yes.
I honestly can't... I honestly cannot function. Like, I have to lay down and I can't be touched or look at anyone. So thank you for doing... I really mean it. Thank you for doing this. On this.
Of course.
I'm going to show you my Flow app so you can see that I'm being serious. It's starting today.
Oh, you have an app.
You don't use the app? I love it.
What's been killing me though is I've been getting cramps way too far in advance. Like normally I get them pretty close and it's like fine. I've been getting them like 2-3 days before, and I was like, I ain't got time for this.
No, I apologize. I'm getting mine officially tomorrow. You see where the red underline? Friday the 13th.
You feel, oh my God.
I know, but it's been really tough. I will say this about Costco, Naomi Ekperigin.
Yes, tell me.
And I'm also excited to like promote all the hilarious shit you have happening. But I really have a problem with Costco in that I'm obsessed with it, like a good problem. Like I love it.
Yeah.
And something opposite of Trader Joe's, maybe that's why I feel that way. When I go in, I feel a peace. I feel it's like going on Antiques Roadshow. I'm like, oh, you never know what you're going to find at Costco because they always have some crazy shit there.
Yes.
I read a story this week that they're now selling a bottle of Prosecco so big there that it could kill a grown man. That was the headline, said it. I'm like, it's amazing. Like only at Costco, and they sell coffins. So you can get the whole, anything, the whole set. And I became obsessed with buying. I have an admission to make to you. And I know, and you can read me to filth. I'm saying it to you because I want you to break me down. I 100% have hoarded toilet paper and paper towels.
Now, look, the thing is, I ain't gonna read you. I'm with you on that.
Wow.
I'm with you on that, okay?
Wow.
Load up on your paper products. We will be because you know what? In the apocalypse, that's where our power will lie.
That's right.
People will start giving us foods and medicines in exchange for rolls of Downy. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be our power. Do it. Do it, girl.
Oh, my God. You have, by the way, just consistently surprising me today. Just so much excitement. Because I was like, I was afraid to tell you. I was like shaking. I was like, Naomi. Like, every time I go, I'm I got to get Charmin. And I got to tell you something that I actually packed toilet paper for London. I wasn't going to do it. I thought of it. And then my mom was like, you really should separately. And I thought, you know what? It can't hurt. So I have 4 rolls of Charmin upstairs. They don't make toilet paper the same way here. It's not nice.
Too thin?
Too thin, balls up, sticks. Too thin, balls up, sticks. You know what I mean? And unless you're like the daintiest of dabbers, which God bless.
Yeah.
But I wipe. I wipe. I'm a wiper. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's not great. It's just not good.
No. That feels very World War II. You know what I mean? Yes. I feel like it's to have such thin toilet paper that just comes apart.
I'm just using
that's very
old
like
paper.
Wartime.
Old newspapers like Nixon wins. I'm like, ripping it, wiping. It's been fun. So what are you working on now outside of everything happening, obviously, which I want everyone to vote right now for Naomi. You were nominated.
Please vote for me for a WOWIE. I'm a WOW-lebrity on the rise. You can vote every day. I welcome voter fraud. I didn't know I was being nominated.
Wow.
So I didn't have time to go, make my stump speeches. I didn't have time to travel to the swing states. So now I'm really relying on phone banking, podcast banking, to really just get people on board. You can vote first of all, Michelle, I'm up against the entire cast of Drag Race Holland.
Shut the fuck
Come
up.
on.
Calm the fuck. Yeah, but Holland, no one's going to vote for them. No one's even watched that show. That's not true, but you hear what I'm saying. Also, you have strength, Naomi. I'm sure they're all very funny and fine. Who else are you up against? Because I'll kill everyone right now. Go.
Thank you so much. There's some Nashville realtors, like some brothers. Yeah. I'm gonna try to find the image of who these guys are.
That's over.
There's some people, and they're like Nashville realtors. Evan and Elliot Thomas.
No clue. Not winning.
I know. Someone named Hannah Bromfman, which initially I thought had to do with Nexium, but no, she is in the fitness world.
Oh, wait a minute. Wasn't she in Nexium?
Was she in it? But she's looking biracial to me.
Hold up. Because I know that maybe it was Claire Bromfman. Did you watch those shows?
Of course. I watched except the first 5 because I found The Vow to be, how you gonna be about a sex cult born as hell?
It was the worst thing I've ever seen. I know.
I mean, I was in there prepared. And then, but I think the reason why I was so terrible is because they had to use Mark's footage, the guy who was in the cult for 15 years. But also, Michelle, what kind of sense does that make, keeping a bitch in a cult who records everybody?
No, first of all,
if you record everyone, you don't get to be in the cult.
First of all, you're absolutely right. And it's like Goebbels talking shit about Hitler. You will never believe what he did. It's like, you're Goebbels. Get the fuck, you know what I mean? It's like Eichmann going, a lot of shit happened.
He's tripping. He cray.
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
Eichmann yelling, he cray. That's a movie. You have to start writing these things down, Naomi. But I agree. It was also, it went on, it was it broke me down. I was like, oh, I feel like now I'm weak-minded because I've spent 9 hours watching the show. I haven't watched the one in Stars. Hannah Bromfman, not in Nexium. I just Googled her.
Yeah. Okay, you found her out. Yeah.
I wonder if she's part of the Bromfman family, though. So I don't want you to vote for her because she's rich. I don't think rich people should win awards. No offense. You may be rich. I don't know. But I'm saying she's billionaire.
Oh, no, I'm not.
She's billionaire fuck off rich. she's... You know
right, of course. I mean, look, first of all, if I was rich, you would know. You know what I mean? Because I think if I was rich, I would not be cool about it. I would be V tacky. I would be V loud. And I would make a show of buying things.
Well, I didn't want to assume, because, there's some people you never know in comedy. There's
a lot of low-key rich.
Some secret comedy billionaires. And when people find out, they're like, what? Because you wouldn't know because they seem cool. But it's one of the reasons a lot of these people have made it is because they've literally never worked as a legal secretary at the worst law firm for 5 years. Me, unsexy secretary, the original. But okay, go on. And so who else? Is that it? Holland? You got it.
Zoe Tur. I don't know who she is.
Give me a break.
And then Antoinette Clark and Trisha Clark Stone. They're gorgeous ladies. I can't tell if they're twins, but they're certainly sisters. And I guess they wrote a book.
Okay.
And then someone named Beta Angaroli.
How many nominees are there in this thing?
There are 7 in my category. So
I don't like it.
I've told my mother to set an alarm so she can vote every day.
Everybody should.
So she knows to just click and vote.
How many days do we have left to vote?
You have at least 2 weeks to vote.
And where can people vote?
The winners are announced on December 4th.
Okay.
So you have at least 2 weeks, and then you can go to worldofwonder.net and you can vote. Penny, you must.
I'm actually going to vote every single day until the cutoff for you, and I encourage all my listeners to do that. It's not a joke. Set a calendar reminder and vote for Naomi. I'm doing this almost out of personal pride. Like, because then when you win, I'll be like, we did it. Like, I'll feel so good that we got you in. Like, yes. Biden, you're our Biden now. Like,
thank you. Democracy in action.
Yes.
You know, I'm trying to become the Kamala of comedy. That's what I say, honey. Put me in all white. I've got a Jewish husband who supports me.
Oh, yeah. You really are.
Oh,
my God. Naomi.
This is the dream.
I fucking love that Doug, huh? Kamala's husband.
I know. Doug is such a sweet boy. Don't you love how a sweet boy he
Doug
is?
is a sexy little Jew, ain't he? I'm like, oh. You know, because I'm like, oh, he's got those sweet eyes. Like, he just has a sweetness to him, but, you know, he's like a little fucked up. You know, I love that. And
you love it.
You love to see it. And she's like thrilled. Did I see what?
Did you see his parents in Costco holding up Kamala's memoir?
Okay,
there's a picture of.
I gotta find it.
Okay, I gotta say, it's like, and they were literally in Costco holding up a memoir, Kamala's memoir, and it was so funny because the thing is, Dad is holding a hat while wearing a hat, like he's about to buy one in Costco, which was like, yes, this is where you get your fashion.
Wait,
this is what I expect.
I should look up parents. The fact that this has come full circle and now, like, Costco has come into play with Doug, Kamala's husband. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I see it. He's holding. First of all, are they not the cutest couple? Look at us.
The cutest thing I've ever seen. You've got it.
Oh my
cutest thing I've ever seen.
God, I love them. She looks just like him. He looks like his mom. Look at that picture. Same face.
Yeah.
Wow,
I live for her mom haircut.
Cute. She's got
I
a
love
real.
Them in Costco.
What would you call this? It's like if Long Island Medium was in a biker gang, and she's like a brunette Teresa Caputo, but like more classy than that.
Yes, like a Son of Anarchy, Long Island Medium energy. Yes. But I just also live for them in their like performance fleece.
Oh,
like Dad's in a
yes.
performance fleece. She's got on a vest. It's just very active senior.
He's
very
in his
energy.
Orvis mint green fleece. I'll tell you something. They both look very fit.
They look really fit, honey.
Wow.
They look young and fit to me.
Wow.
I'm like, are they old enough to be his parents?
I wish we were still in that generation where like we would have had kids at 20. Because, you know, like I feel like now if I have kids, like by the time they're 20, I mean, I'm hobbling down that graduation aisle. Like there's no way I'm making it in.
Honey, I'm zooming in. I said, honey, put on the screen. I'm not going. I'm not getting out, sitting out in the sun. You think I'm sitting out in the sun at that age?
You know, I never thought of it from the parents' perspective, how much it must suck to go to graduation for your kids. It actually has to be the worst. Because you're right. It's like shriveling. Well, first of all, my college graduation, my grandparents, my father's parents came, and they're 5 feet tall. This is a twist in my DNA that
wow.
We don't like to ask too many questions. I'll leave it at that. But they're very, very tiny. And my joke is that when we walked in, they looked like good and evil, like on either side, because they're mini. And we also didn't really get along. They didn't know what was going on. How was do you remember your graduation from college or no? I feel like it's a faint memory.
Yeah, like I remember in that because like, so that was May, and I went to school in Connecticut, and it was like ridiculously cold. And because I had already, and I remember so distinctly, you know, you have like the outfit you're going to wear, right? So I had packed a cute little like graduation dress under my gown, and it was literally 55 degrees. We were outside freezing. Yeah. And I just remember being like, oh no, this is going to be a long one. But
so wonderful.
And then I just kept being like, you just have to focus until you walk across. And luckily, you know, I'm an E, so I'm going to go relatively quickly in the process. They were going alphabetical, and I was like, you just got to walk across the stage and not look hungover and not look like you're like cold and sad. And so once I did that, and like once I like walked across, I was like, okay, wake me up when it's over.
You were done.
And then I just like laid down in my seat and just took a little nap.
You know what I just thought, as you said, the hangover thing, what's kind of nice is that I feel like in both my high school and my college, they really like tried to make it exciting for us. Like not the actual ceremony, but the last week of senior year, there were like fun events and things. And I'm like, it's nice because, you know, when you think about it, like they don't have to do shit. Like they got your money. You can just get the fuck out, like get your diploma and get out, get a job. So it's kind of sweet that they actually are like, let's do something fun for the kids.
Yes.
You know?
Senior week is the best. I remember staying, like I was there well before I was a senior. Like every year I would stay for senior week. So I was like, oh, it's just everyone hanging out with no requirements. I'm in.
So fun.
And it was so fun. It was very like, oh God, don't you just sometimes miss college in that it's the least responsibility you'll ever have. And you're probably your best bod.
Not
depending.
for me. Not for me.
No. My best bod. My best bod was junior year. What junior year?
You know, actually,
after junior year.
I'm going to say something to you. I don't know if I've ever said this out loud. I want to say it was maybe my junior or senior year, and I had this coat, and I remember trying it on with just my lingerie under it just to see how it looked. And I remember thinking I look fucking hot. So maybe I just had at that point a good body, but didn't know how to wield it yet because I was young still. I was 20 as a senior and tall and awkward. I also went to a women's college, so it's not like I was
You did? Where?
Barnard. There were guys, but it was.
Oh my goodness! Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know you went to Barnard.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a lot of Orthodox Jews. You know, I wasn't getting a lot of tips sexually at Barnard. Literally, in every sense of that word, I was getting no tips. So luckily, I became a big time slut after I graduated. But it was. I never took advantage of it. But then I look back at pictures from my junior year, and I genuinely, my style was so horrendously bad. It was, even if I had a good body, you wouldn't have known because I was, oversized sweaters. I had no idea how I dressed. And I can't decide if it's because as a tall woman in the year 2000, there weren't a lot of options for me because online shopping wasn't really a thing. So I couldn't get cute stuff. I was kind of in the men's department a lot. There was a tough area for me.
Yeah.
To fill.
Getting those long pants.
Exactly. Yeah. Or if I was just dorky. I mean, it's both, I think. I was just also very dorky, and I was the funny girl, so
yeah.
I don't miss
clothes
college.
Even now.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I don't think you are.
But I don't really know stuff. Right now I'm wearing an Old Navy dress with a Costco legging. And that is in a way, quarantine is my ideal time. I get to dress in the flowy way that I would like, which is just kind of shapeless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to start a cult, but it'll be a cult where you don't have to have sex, but you do have to give me your money. And we just wear very shapeless fashions.
Hello, David Koresh. No, he made you have sex. Who's the one? Heaven's Gate. They loved a Nike. They loved a legging. Are you kidding me? Go on.
But you don't have to kill. I don't want you killing yourself. We're literally just hanging out. Our cult is just a hangout time.
Yeah.
Multiple TVs.
You would have loved Barnard. That was Barnard basically for 4 years. A bunch of women just completely alone. Saddest girls, Yeah, it's funny. I wouldn't want to go back to college years. And then also I was a senior. Well, what time is it? I guess I'll bring 9/11 up. No, I won't. But I was a senior when it happened. So it was also that year was kind of tainted, obviously. Yeah. And I don't know. There was just college was fun. Did you study abroad?
I didn't. I didn't at the time, which I really wish I had.
Yeah.
So then, I went to Australia 2008 to 2009.
Wow.
That was me being I want to go abroad. I want to do that. It's the first place I got paid to do comedy, too.
Wait.
I got $100 for
God.
5 minutes of a corporate gig.
Wait, Naomi, I never knew that you lived in Australia. When you were there for a whole year?
Under a year. So it was a year visa. And then I kind of came back. I did some more traveling. I went to Sweden.
Wow.
And I went somewhere else. So I came back just shy of a year, probably 9 months.
Honestly, I have so much respect for that. You have no idea. And I always say anytime, obviously pandemic aside and forget my location right now, but anytime you can really go somewhere and explore the world. I've never been to Australia and it's one of my greatest regrets. I'm dying to go there. Did you love living there?
You can do it. I did like it. I was there. I was 25 to 26 and it was very much holy shit, I'm on the other side of the world and anything could happen to me. It's meaning you're alone and just having to keep your wits about you. I found a room and this older couples, not older, probably my mom's age, but they had a room in their house, kind of a little studio, and so I stayed there. And then there was a German boy who had the other room and he and I are still friends to this day. We always just we'll video and message and he'll be you still doing comedy? And he'll be calling me at what is 3 a.m. in Berlin.
Sweet.
I'm
so Berlin.
You've had a couple cocktails.
So Berlin.
I know. And he's like, what's going on? So it's so that's nice. I did love it. It was a little too racial, really early on. That's kind of why I knew I couldn't stay, because I was it's a lot to be in a place where anytime people look at you, they know you're not from there.
Yeah.
So it just constantly invites, you know what I mean? I remember early, probably the day 3, I was going to get some dress pants because, I didn't pack right. And I had some interview. And so I go to get dress pants and I'm reaching, at the rack. And this random girl comes out of nowhere and just rubs my arm and goes, "Ooh, your skin." Girl.
That's insane.
I was not used to it. So like, it was beautiful. I'm so glad I did it. I miss it. I would love to go back. I went to New Zealand too, which I really want to go to.
Dying
especially because, honey,
to go there.
It's so nice. But it's true. It's like, I felt like the decision to go there abroad was because it's such a far trip. It takes so long. I was like, you're never going to go on a vacation here. Yeah. Because it takes you a day, like 24 hours just to get there. So if you want to go live somewhere, that's like kind of how I picked it. And so I was like,
it's true though. That flight, I'm always convinced that they're going to have to wheel me off on a gurney in like with a toe tag on after 24 hours, me on a plane, unless I'm like in first, because my veins are always on the verge of clogging. You know that look how long I am. My veins are always, I can hear them squeaking. I can hear the blood rushing through them. But wait, it's interesting. The racism in Australia, I imagine, is just so difficult too, because they are known. I mean, they were like a penal colony, and like how they treated the Aborigines was not human. They're known for all of that horrible stuff. So it saddens me that you had that experience, and not that long ago. I mean, 12 years ago.
But they weren't even that but it was interesting too, because it's like, it wasn't always like
bad.
Because I was American, there was like another layer, and people like thought it was cool. And then like, even when I found like New Zealand was a totally different vibe. Like, they were chill. Because I think they treated their indigenous people better historically, in that they acknowledged they were people. And were like, okay, you live here too. Like, very early on. And so I think that even that changed the flavor of it. But in Australia, it was also just like a weird, like on one hand, I say, I'm like, they were throwing dicks at me, Mish. Like, that would have been my time. Like, if I was like trying to get it, I was like, I like kind of just come out of my like hookup phase where I was like, But they were throwing them left and right.
I honestly was going to ask, I would think the main reason to go to Australia is to like fuck the hottest guys on earth. I mean,
well, trust me, I got a couple. Yeah. Don't worry, I got some in, but not the extent to which, like, I remember I was like in some bar and their equivalent, I want to call it the Sydney version of WeHo. And it was like so fun. And like these like little, like these like young gay boys are like whispering, and I'm like, and looking at me. And of course I'm immediately like, what's wrong with my face? And then they're like, are you famous? They just like came up to me and were like, are you famous? And I was like, no, thank you though. But then they were like, can we buy you a drink? Like, people were very warm and very friendly.
Oh, I got it.
But it was always kind of this tinge of, because you're black.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like, let me touch your hair, or let me do whatever, like all this kind of stuff, where it was like, honey, I'm just trying to live.
I'm not comparing, obviously, but I would say, as a tall woman, just in that vein of people thinking it's okay to comment on my body and my size, like, obviously the pain bodies attached to that are wildly different, but in the similar, thing, right, where
like, you're for public consumption. Public consumption. Yes.
Where it's
yes,
just like,
totally.
like, I'm like, oh my God, like, and everyone wanted to comment on it and asking about my parents and all kinds of things. And I'm going, or like if I play sports, and I'm like, don't you think if I played sports, like, I'd be fucking hot? Like, get out of my sight. No, I don't say it. But can we end part 1, and then we'll come back with Naomi Ekperigin for part 2 on Thursday, who I got to tell you something. I wasn't feeling well today, and I actually was like, I have corona. Every day I think it. But you have healed me from corona. I feel I'm having the best time with you, genuinely.
Me too, love.
You don't already subscribe to Naomi's podcast, Couples Therapy, do that now. Vote for her WOWIE Award for Wow Celebrity on the Rise. Do it every day for the next 2 weeks. Just go to at worldofwonder.net and you can vote there. Next episode, we're going to talk about her hit single and ringtone. I don't want to spoil it yet. And God, you have so much shit going on, honestly. Well, we'll talk about all the things you've written for. Follow her at Blacktress on Twitter and at Blacktress Comedy on Instagram. The funniest. Naomi, I love you. We'll be back on Thursday.
You're the best.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Midnight Snack with Michelle Collins is executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. Produced by Tracy Soren. Original theme music by Gabe Lopez. Cover art by Ben Wiseman. To listen to this podcast ad-free, sign up for Forever Dog Plus at foreverdogpodcasts.com/plus. Check out video clips of our podcasts on YouTube at youtube.com/foreverdogteam. And make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Forever Dog Team to keep up with all the latest Forever Dog news. News.